Yeah. Maybe clean your glasses with, buddy, rather than wiping on your feet. It's gonna have to do. Okay.
Do that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that's all.
That's fine.
Good. No, I don't, too. What do I care about height?
Idaho's a nice place.
Yeah, I've been there. Right on the river.
Been on a submarine in the dry dock.
A submarine? No kidding.
Yeah, I think that's in.
Wow.
I think that is this.
Yeah. Yeah, if this has all my weird calculations on the side, that's the one.
All right, welcome. It's 6:30. This is the Newport Board of Selectmen budget hearing, and today is February 17th, 2022. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Hunter, who's first?
Well, we have quite an assortment this evening, so you can take your pick. Library, rec. Do you have any preference?
Library.
You have
Okay.
sewer treatment plant here too.
Yes, we do, but we pay them to be here. There's some other people that aren't being paid to be here.
Okay,
And so we can start with the library.
Perfect.
okay.
Page 25, line 616.
And I did email all of you an amended budget,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which is the one that you should be really referring to. This one's not representative of what the latest one was.
Didn't get it.
You didn't get this?
Didn't get it. No.
I can give you my copy.
Well, we run off a couple copies.
Well, that would be good. Run one off for me.
Oh, you didn't get one? Or you
Well,
don't have
I'll
it?
probably have this, but I hate looking on this.
Okay.
Yeah, Hunter emailed it to us yesterday.
So,
And there wasn't an encyclopedia that printed it.
Unless I missed it.
Hmm?
But unless I missed it, I haven't seen it.
I know I saw it, but I'm
I
getting
think
old to read off this.
Hunter sent it out and then Paul had a follow-up email that followed it.
Oh, I always look at Paul's
Those are the important ones, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Didn't get it. There are all kinds of ads though. Lots of ads.
Let's see, Wednesday, driver time? Doesn't show time, but it's sometime yesterday it came
West.
in. Titled,
Paul.
reference 2202 proposed library budget PDF. I got one.
The last email I got from Hunter was the 15th of February.
I guess that's just the
Yeah.
front page.
You didn't correlate it as you went?
No.
That's first half,
Thank you, sir.
2 more pages. Should be 1 more page.
Blank pages, that's good.
All right, do we have enough to get started?
I believe so.
Okay. All right, who's up on the library?
That's me. So I don't think I've met you all. I'm Justine Fafara, the new library director.
Okay.
So you'll have to give me a little bit of what you want from me. What do you want to hear about tonight? Obviously, the increases in the budget that we're asking for, but what else can I share with you about the library?
Well, pretty much guidance from the town manager was a 2% increase, and you've exceeded that quite
We
a bit.
did.
That's twice.
Also, looking through this, some of this I've not been able to follow. I guess your appropriation for this current year was $351,996.
Yes,
You're asking for $400,924.27 next year. And also this year, in addition to the appropriation from the town, I believe you've gotten some grants through COVID funds or state
yep, from the
funds, so
state library.
it'd be good to hear pretty much how you've integrated that grant from the state library into what you're doing, and pretty much why you feel you need, a hefty, I think it's 14% increase in
Yeah.
the budget, and how that will, how that will relate to improving services for the community. Certainly with COVID last year and at least part of this year, activities at the library were down from
Yep.
2019. But personally, my feeling is, as far as, tax-wise, the library and the rec department are two areas where people basically see their money at work.
Yes,
So,
yeah, in
so-
good ways, right? Yes.
aside from a little asphalt on the road.
Right.
it's good too.
we love when potholes get filled, yes.
Yeah. So if you can just take us through,
Yeah,
I guess, pretty much how this year has been and what going forward, and how you plan to come out of this, these restrictions,
Yeah.
we seem to be coming out of again.
yes,
So
yes.
I don't know
Thank
if
goodness for
anyone
spring.
else has anything, if that covers it for you.
I'm just looking for explanations.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that's a pretty hefty increase.
Yes.
And
So
before you go on,
Yeah.
do you have some of your board with you tonight, or?
I have 3 board members, I think.
Okay, just so we know who the,
Yes.
all
I'm
the
Sharon Urban, I'm the town elected trustee.
Okay. And in the back row there, do we have a
I'm
couple?
Nancy Wilmot, a trustee and the treasurer.
Okay,
I'm Bill Wilmot, and a trustee.
okay.
You don't handle money, Bill.
No,
Oh, okay.
And do we?
And on Zoom, Marty Lovely, trustee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, just,
Yes, thank you. So in 2020, we did receive a grant through the Institute for Museum and Library Sciences and the New Hampshire State Library. It was just under $4,000, and the purpose of that grant money was to help us with programming over the summer to get people back to the library and using outdoor space, because that was the recommended COVID guidance over the summer.
that was last summer, right?
Last summer, yep. So we purchased a big white event tent that we had set up on the side lawn. We split the cost of that with the Library Arts Center and had all of our programs outside under the tent. We purchased some furniture for the front porch, because the front porch was redone when we had some sill work done, and then we were able to actually use the porch, which was wonderful. So we had rocking chairs and little cafe tables and chairs so people could work out there with a laptop or read a book or a newspaper out there, and that was really well received. So that was the grant, the first grant. And then we also received $7,000 from the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation to upgrade our children's nonfiction collection. It was really outdated, so we were able to get a lot of new books for that collection, which has been wonderful. And the Montessori kids really appreciate it. They come to the library once a week, and those books fly off the shelves. It's so exciting to see that. And then we were just awarded last month a $23,000 grant, again from the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences and the New Hampshire State Library, that is going to help us start a gaming collection. So it's going to be video games and board games and all of the stuff that goes with it, so we can do programs at the library after school. So the two big increases in our budget, one of them goes right along with that. We have a lot of kids who come into the library after school, and we don't have the staff, the bodies, the staff people to engage all of the tweens and teens who are in the library after school. So one of the increases in our budget is for personnel, so that we can have a part-time youth services person, which would bring that department to 2 people. So we have Mo, who is our head of youth services, and then she would have a part-time assistant who would really focus on the after-school crowd and doing programming for them. Hopefully to bring some more in, and also to keep out of trouble the ones who are already in the library. With the increase in personnel costs is also a position that we've had at the library for a while, which is a local history and archivist librarian, and that was a 4-hour-a-week position, and we've increased that to 18 hours a week. There's a lot we can be doing with our local history collection and outreach to the community, and so that position felt really important to kind of to grow and serve the community that way.
You've already increased it.
We did, yeah. Yep.
How are you paying for the increase right now?
We had a little bit of money, a wiggle room with grants covering some materials, so money could be moved around. Andrea leaving, so there was some money. So we found some wiggle room to increase it for these couple months, because he was hired in January.
Okay, the position prior to this was 4 hours a week?
Correct.
Is this the same person?
Nope.
It's a new person?
New person.
Okay.
And we don't pay we don't pay Justine what we paid Andrea.
Yes.
So the investment went into the local history piece, because people are very interested in that now.
Yeah. Yep.
And what was the youth, you've got 20 hours a week for the youth services position. What was it?
Nothing. We have
Okay,
not
so this
had
is a
this
new
position. This is a
position.
new one.
This
Correct.
is the second position.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we currently have a full-time youth services position, 40
Okay.
hours a week.
And that you've done already?
Yep.
And you're just asking to have it carried
To
over?
add a second person.
Okay.
You don't have that second person yet?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then the other piece of our big increase is the mowing and plowing line, which is based on some conversations we've had that the town is interested in not being responsible for our groundskeeping anymore, so we got a quote for what that would look like if we added it to our budget instead.
Okay. Just one quote.
That was all I was able to get. Yeah, it's so frustrating trying to get quotes right now. It's just amazing.
Is the library considered, an arts center considered town property?
No. Owned and operated by separately governing boards.
Okay.
Is the library open at this point?
We
Or
are.
is-
Yep.
You are now open?
That was like last week or so, right?
We've been open. There was one week in January that we were closed because we had staffing and
Yeah.
COVID fun. And then we were open for just curbside for January, and then February 1st we opened the building up again. So
Has it been your experience that it's more expensive to operate when you're closed or when you're open, or is it about the same?
I think it's about the same. We're still all working. The building's still being used.
No additional expenses for doing it one way or the other?
I don't think so. I mean, programming expenses, right? When we're open, we're spending money on program supplies and that kind of stuff, and when we're closed, we're not, but yeah.
For example, Marty and I are part of an afternoon book group that met during that closed week, and we were there on Zoom.
Right.
So the staff person was still prepping and interacting and following up, and to get us all the books, meet us at curbside to give us books if we needed them, and that kind of thing. So
Everything pretty much the same, just processed differently.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
What's that?
Couldn't find mowing and plowing, but I see it.
Yeah, 15,000.
Yeah.
There, yep. What is on your budget in the center column? I think it's about go past a third of the way down. Endowment, 30,651.
Yep, so that is money that was moved into the endowment. So gifts that were given specifically to go into our book endowment,
Okay.
that's the money that was moved into the endowment.
Okay, so that would be like an in and out
Yep, exactly.
accounting thing. Okay. What is your endowment for?
We have 3 endowments.
Okay.
Right? 3? Yep. One is specifically for children's books. One is specifically for Hale Award related expenses. And one is specifically for building maintenance.
It's part of what makes the return on investment for the library so good, is that we do have those
Right.
Yeah.
endowments. And so many towns have to pay more about their building than Newport does, because we have generous endowments.
Good. Yeah, I guess one of, am I reading this right, that so far your expenses in the center column have, your expenses so far was $476,000?
That was January 2021 through December 2022. No?
January 2021 for December 2021.
20, yes, thank you.
It was
Yep.
not a 2-year thing.
Okay,
Just being picky.
so it's still in this budget year, right?
So that's where it gets tricky. The library operates a January through December budget year. We do not match up with the town.
Okay. So the appropriation you get from the town covers 2 of your financial years.
Correct.
6 months
It
of
is.
one and 6 months of the other.
It was incredibly challenging to wrap my head around when I took over, but yeah.
Would it make sense for you to switch to a July to June?
We talked about it. I think it is not worth the effort in terms of tax liability, is my understanding, to make everything match up.
We'd have to have an 18 budget sometime, 18-month budget sometime. So that could be worked on, but it does mean an 18-month budget at some point.
Okay. Herb, any questions?
Still trying to wrap my head around the numbers. I just got this 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yep. Why is your telecommunication doubled? Bottom line on the first sheet.
Yeah, and what we spent this year. Isn't that a fabulous question? Right down here. What we spent last year versus what we budgeted.
So pretty much, I guess what.
Oh, I know exactly what that is. We got a new phone system. So we're ending contracts, making new contracts, getting new physical phone units, and all the setup involved in that. So that's where that was.
That would be there, that wouldn't be under any sort of capital expense thing. Okay. pretty much you're looking for an increased appropriation from the town of about $49,000.
Yep.
And-
Does that include 15,000?
That does include the 15,500.
Right, in the past, pretty much that has been done by the town,
Correct.
okay, pretty much at no expense to the, so the question is whether it's more cost effective to the taxpayers if the town continues to do it versus paying an outside contractor to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other is the 18-hour-a-week position for your archivist.
Yep.
Versus 4 hours a week.
Correct.
So an additional, even though it's a different person, the extra hours is about 14 hours.
Yep.
And also looking at a 20-hour-a-week person to work in the children's section.
Yep.
Specifically with the teens and tweens, and that person's day would not start until around the time school gets out.
Right.
You have a lot of kids just hanging around.
We do, yeah.
What are you gonna do about that?
It would be so good to get them involved. I think the
Okay.
gaming grant
Like
is
the-
gonna
like the
be
approach, yeah.
really good for getting them engaged in the
They're
library.
either there or hanging out with Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Yes,
they might have a
since
book.
PJ's chased him out of the rec
I
center.
was gonna say, don't leave them out of the rec.
Oh, yeah, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Just
Well, the
hanging
rec-
out is not what I,
Well, the rec center's at capacity after school, I would imagine, too. So we have Hunter.
Yeah, just a quick comment on the snow plowing and property maintenance. We were looking for alternative costs because A, we are having difficulty with our staff levels. B, because we're short on staff, we can't take care of the property in a fashion or in a timely manner in many cases because the staff is out, doing other things. They're spread thin, and their first responsibilities are public right-of-ways. And C, we do believe that, with some additional effort, we could probably see a much more attractive number than 15,000. That's well beyond what we would have expected. That's how we.
so, in the past, have they paid us when we go in and that's been gratis?
Yeah.
All right, so if there was a fee involved with it, I don't know if we're allowed to do that.
Sure.
I mean, it would be less than what they're getting for quotes.
That's absolutely the case.
Would we be a priority, I guess is then the question. I just don't love my staff having to shovel in big snowstorms. And that just shouldn't be the case liability-wise.
It comes down to staffing. I mean,
Right.
The priorities do lie within, the roadways first,
Yeah,
sidewalks,
Right.
parking lots.
but all they have, well, I'm not gonna get that, because I don't know enough about plowing.
And I would like to say that the library parking lot is not used just for the library in any sense of, come on a basketball night.
I'm well aware of that,
You know,
yeah, I'm well aware of that, yeah, or a voting night, or, yeah.
Or farmer's market, or, I mean, it serves in many ways as an additional municipal parking lot.
It is.
Good point.
I mean, as I said, not to be redundant, I mean, to Todd's point, our first priority is public right-of-ways. Roads first,
Yeah.
sidewalks second, and parking lots, including our own, come third or fourth. And depending on the timing of the storm, it could be right smack in the middle of normal work time, startup time, so it wouldn't be done. And so you do have more control over a private contractor. You can specify what times and under what circumstances you want the services rendered.
It's a lot to plow, though.
Yeah.
We did reach out to 4 different
Yes.
Yeah,
entities, but only were able to get one to bid.
yeah. Well, they're busy.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of viewed that number as I don't want to do this unless you're going to give me this amount of money, because they're all busy. But if you pay me this much, I'll drop what I'm doing and come do it. Because
Yeah,
it's
it's like
really,
hiring anybody to do anything.
yeah, that's right, yeah, that's right,
I'm busy, but if you pay me this, I'll do
yeah, that's right.
And they knew that it was not for this season that we
But is there any, well, yeah, I don't think you can say, if you want it to be a priority, it's not gonna be.
Right.
Okay. So, but still, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, eventually it's gonna get, if the town was involved, eventually it'd get plowed. But not as a priority.
I mean, I've personally been out there at 10 o'clock at night, helping highway guys, knowing that it needs to get plowed. You know, just so in the morning it's hopefully clear.
Right.
Right, but if he's out there at 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock and it's still snowing, they plow it once. By the time morning rolls around,
It's gotta be plowed again.
yeah. And so by that time, we've sent guys home, by 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna get any attention that,
Well, I mean,
maybe they're
even the streets, basically, at some point, you send people home and they can call them back out, what, 5 or so they can get a start on the roads, hopefully, with the morning
Yeah,
commute.
it's just simply a matter of not having enough people to
Yeah.
cover this much territory.
You know, but at the rec department, a lot of their programs are done through volunteers. You know, if there was a library trustee volunteer who would come out with a shovel, then we'd be all set.
Yeah.
So, but it's I mean,
So that 15.5 is in your budget.
Correct.
in the new budget, yes. That's a new line in the budget.
Yeah.
So pretty much the increases for the plowing and mowing, and for the 2 part-time positions.
Correct.
But how many kids do you get in the building after school?
Ooh, on a busy day, 2 dozen. There is not space for that many. On a normal day, probably 12 to 15.
So when there's an overflow, do you just cut it off at where it's normal?
No, they just spread out a little more than we would normally like, but they all find space and
And they're working?
no, they're
See,
hanging.
that's my point. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Are they looking at the book?
no.
Some
They
of
just
them,
stand, you
not
know,
many.
I mean, I watched at Dunkin' Donuts tonight. They're all just sitting there talking.
A
and
lot
looking
of
at their
them
phone.
use our computers.
Oh, well,
Yep.
okay. As long as they're going to the right places.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to be sure that you recognize that the additional history position is partly offset at this time by the fact that we have a different librarian, a less senior librarian. So it's not the whole 14 hours.
But that ends at the end of this year, right? I mean, you're not going to have that extra money. If you've adjusted
No.
But
your
some of
budget.
it is in here.
Okay,
Yeah.
Some of it was offset already.
all right.
And that's the position you've hired already.
Correct.
Shows an expenditure of $54,360 for renovation.
Yep, that was
Most
the
of it
sill
porch.
work that we had done on the front of the building.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're requesting 20,000 more? For what purpose?
No, I don't think we're requesting. So only the numbers in bold are
Okay.
line items that the town money is allocated to. All the other money comes from our endowments and our donations. So that
Right.
20,000 is from our endowment.
And that 54 was from our endowments.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that front porch definitely needed.
Needed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and Newport is fortunate that we had the money to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would have been a big ask last year.
Okay.
So we are lucky that we're asking you only for staff and ongoing programs. I mean, if you think about it, Justine mentioned that a lot of our books even come from endowments.
Yeah.
So we really are a library that is relatively economical for the town. And the problem with percents is that when your number is not very big, then an increase makes a bigger
That I
percent.
So in the end, it's $48,000.
Right.
I mean, you provided, a list of how your programs have been doing, over this year and the past couple of years, certainly 2019, pre-pandemic.
Yeah, we are not back to those numbers yet, but that is our focus this year, to get people back into the library and remind them that we're there and have services to offer them, and yeah.
Are people coming back?
Yes.
Are people-
Today was the busiest day we have probably had since 2019.
Good.
It was so busy today. The beautiful weather brought everyone out, and it was just so great to see people again.
Plus your tie-in to be able to, my wife uses it all the time, that tie-in for the Audible books
Yes.
and all
Yep.
of that. I mean, she's,
Yeah, all the
I've listened to
content
more
you
books
can get
than I
from
do want to listen
home.
to.
Yeah.
And our strategic planning committee, that is a priority this year. We're even talking about how to use Library Week, which is the end of April, to really
Bring out people.
bring that home.
good.
Okay. Any of the other trustees want to make a comment? Yes, sir. State your name for the record.
Bill Wilmot. So I've been on the library board since January of 2021, and I've come to know that the Richard Street Library, its staff, building, the trustees, it's a jewel. It really is a jewel. It's well run. We've met with Justine several times on her budget, massaging the numbers, and so I would encourage support of the budget, because I think it's just, like you said at the beginning, people see the library, the rec center, and the asphalt as money well spent in their community. And I think that money spent at the library is money well spent.
And as you pointed out, the bold parts in your budget item are the parts that come from the appropriation,
Correct.
and a large part of your funding comes from your endowment and stuff. So you're maximizing both the town's commitment and the appropriations you get through other means.
Yes. Yep.
So. All right. Anything else on library? Everyone set up here?
All set.
Okay. We didn't have John or anyone join us, did we?
No.
No. Marty, anything you want to add? You're muted.
I am muted. I agree with what they all said. The library is a jewel, that and the rec center, and the opera house, and the arts center are jewels of Newport. And I support this budget.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of it. At some point we're going to get to sewer treatment, which is always a great subject. Learn a lot.
Good to see you, Sharon.
Nice to see you too.
I look forward to seeing your sliding garage door.
Well, yeah, we are just in the next week moving into the first new house on Laurel Street in 70 years.
Wow. Good
Oh
for
my
you.
God.
Good.
So, yeah,
Right.
but garage doors are an issue.
Yes, they are. Thank you, folks.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Okay, Paul, next up.
If you come back one page. Bottom of page 23 is rec department.
Okay. And pretty much flat.
That's correct.
We are flat. It's like,
Okay,
as of right now,
okay.
yeah. So we've had a good year. 2021 was a phenomenal year considering all of COVID. But we kept our programs running. Our revenue was down a little bit as we expected because the programs weren't full. They were up there, but they weren't full as usual. We managed to put out 12 major events throughout the year. We tried to have one every month. We ended up with 12 major events, but we skipped March and November. So we had, we had Run for the Food Pantry in January. February of last year, we had Winter Carnival events, which we just had this past weekend, which was supremely well attended. In April, we had the Senior Bunny Express, so we went around to visit seniors instead of having the Easter egg hunt. We visited seniors in masks and saw all the folks around town. That was a huge success. Green Up Cleanup Day and Sunshine 5K happened in May. We put together a disc golf league in June. In July and August, we had a trail running series and a trail marathon in the town forest. In August, we also had the Backyard Olympics on the Common. We had a big festival. September, we did the Waco Taco event at the airport, showing that new trail out there we made. And we had a lot of people we sent out. Everybody got a taco after they walked. Six in the Sticks and the Run for Hope happened in October. And then December, we did the Chili Cook-Off, which was actually more of a drive-through event in December, but we still managed to make it. We did those events as long as our regular programming, which was fantastic. As far as budget goes, everything's pretty much flatlined. The only one I would like to see as a smidge increase is the day camp line item. I know we're trying to cut back a little bit here, but I asked for 12 grand in the day camp. I'm at 10 right now. Yeah, with things that are coming up and inflation, this year we're going to be back at full strength, I think, in day camp. And I think we might need that money a little bit for some of the trips for the kids. That would bring a total up to 382 instead of 384. But I understand times are tough, and I would like to see that snuck back in there.
So at this point, you've spent, wait a minute, make sure I get the right, $87.94, halfway through.
Halfway through.
But
Yeah, and
they
we
camped a summer program.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll buy like some park passes coming up, and then we usually pay for the first trip with that money, and then July 1st is probably our second week or sometimes third week of day camp, and then we'll start new money then. So it's always, we spend a lot, but we don't spend it all. Try to save a little bit of the day camp money for.
How many kids does day camp serve?
How many kids?
Yeah.
Generally, we were up to 65 kids a week for 8 weeks. Full strength. Last year, we were probably at 50. Well, I think 50. Yeah, there's a couple of 50 weeks. That's whispering.
So 65 is about.
65 is where we have been in the past. The last 2 years. 2 years ago, we were less, mid-30s, 35. Last year, Beth's saying 40. I'm saying 45, 50 or so. And this year, we plan to go back to full strength.
Which is 65.
Which is about 65.
Right.
Which is a lot for the little building, but we utilize Meadow Park and the fields, and rainy days it's tough, but sunny days it's fine.
Now, how would the new building work if we have the new building? Would you be able to increase it?
You could increase it, and you would probably separate the camps. You'd probably do a youth camp, maybe 50 or so, and maybe an older kids camp, another 50. So you'd probably move up a third, I would think.
Okay.
And then located down at the fields area, you have those outside venues right there, which really let you spread everybody out.
So pretty much you're limited to about 65 given the capacity of your facility now?
Pretty much are, yeah.
Yep. And you figure you could probably add another third to that if you had larger facility,
Right.
so another 20, 25 kids maybe.
I would think, yeah.
And right now you have kids you turn away, right?
Oh yeah, we have a waiting list pretty much every year. The last couple of years, maybe not so much, but generally we have waiting lists. We start our signups April 1st, and then usually fills up. We do 2 weeks of Newport residents, then we allow the out-of-towners to sign up at a more expensive fee, and then they come in and we go until we're full, and we start taking a waiting list. And the new building, I mean, you don't know, like, is 100 going to be enough? Maybe there's more, maybe it's a little less, based on once you get it, see how it works.
How about after-school programs? Are you pretty much...
We're pretty full. We average about anywhere from 25 to 40 kids a day. And it's middle school. We used to operate second grade all the way up, and we would get 100 kids, which was way too many for the building and too crowded. Once COVID hit, we went back to middle school as we thought they might need it the most.
Mhm.
So 6th grade and up, and that seems to be a good number for the rec. And it's not as so much babysitting, they're playing active games. They are hanging out, but they're hanging out in a, a better environment. It's different. Yeah.
So for the past couple of years, what's happened with the younger kids?
Richard School has done some after-school programming.
Okay.
But we haven't been able to offer anything. We offer sports programs for them, but not the after-school portion.
Okay.
And a new facility, maybe you could add those gals to the mix. It was a problem getting them there too. The school was nice they bust them down, the younger kids from Richards. But with the busing shortages, last 2 years, they probably couldn't have done it anyway. Actually, they did stop busing them down.
That's shortage of drivers.
Shortage of drivers, yeah. And then you gotta get the kids home from school. Where's the priority for bringing them to the rec or whatnot? So that was nice of them to bring it home. What else? We managed to do the track this year on I call it the revolving rec grant. So we've tucked some money away over the years from fundraisers and whatnot. And at no cost to the town, we split it with the school and we resurfaced the running track. It was a $70,000 hit, but it didn't cost anybody anything. So it was very nice. That should get it for another 10 years. I don't have to pay any more money for a little while anyway.
How are we on field maintenance? Is that pretty much with an agreement with the school? We do some, they do some, or?
Field maintenance?
Yeah. Say, maintaining the fields,
Oh, field maintenance.
Field.
I said fuel.
Sorry.
I did too.
Must be the math.
Field maintenance, I think we've moved it around a little bit. It seems like the school is taking care of all their fields that they own, and the town is taking care of all the fields that we own. And the full first summer of it working is going to be this one. We'll see how it works out. With that, well, as we know, we have less staff to be able to do our fields, and to do their fields as well was pretty tough. But they've, I think with some of the grants they got some new mowers, put the 2 new fields in, so they have personnel to be able to take care of theirs.
Okay. Herb, anything?
No, I'm good.
Barry?
I'm all set. I mean, it's a flatline budget. You did what is needed at this particular point, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Winter Carnival was
Great.
really good this year. Felt like back to normal. I had 79 entries in the parade, which is
Went on a long time.
went on a long time. A lot of town folks helped out, the fire and the police, and really made it worthwhile. And my crew back here was awesome. They were awesome.
Okay, good. Either of you have any comments, questions?
No.
Chicken.
She does a good job.
All right. How many, in the past, I know at times we've gotten like list of, how many volunteers you have, about how many I mean, your programs work because of the volunteers. How many people help you out volunteer-wise?
Well, I think I got a list of them in the back of my budget here, but
Everybody.
yeah.
I mean,
But it's pretty much a given. The rec center works because of the
Absolutely,
volunteers.
I mean, you're looking at the staff, and
Yeah.
obviously, we're not gonna run every single program every single day. The
Right.
rec center's busy we have a few employees, fitness instructors, but the rec center's full from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., and
Yeah.
50% is, or maybe 75 is
Yeah,
volunteer.
I think it's important to note the fact that the volunteers, how committed they are and such.
Absolutely.
And they make the whole program work.
Yeah, you need them. You need the community to come together to make what we do happen.
Especially Winter Carnival. We
Right.
had a lot of volunteers for Winter Carnival. We couldn't have done it with just the 3 of us, but people just step up for every event to help us out.
It's hard to say no to Beth.
Okay, all right. Anything, Hunter, anything to add, or? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
Guess mine's in there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Paul?
I would recommend you go to the sewer fund, page 51.
That'll be under the sewer fund tab.
Yeah.
Oops.
51.
We're gonna skip I got administration starting on 49 in my
Yeah.
book.
I will do administration and water to last, because we'll get these guys out of here.
Okay.
Okay, 51, going to treatment?
Yeah.
Okay.
I only has one budget, Tom has 3.
Okay.
Okay, before we begin, can I ask a question to
Yes.
both Hunter and Todd concerning the plowing of the parking lot at the library? Is that just the parking lot that you're plowing out?
The library.
The reason I'm asking this is, time-wise, I mean, we have a 1-ton that we could plow that with. If it was the case, you called me and said, hey, you know, we can't get to it and they need it plowed. I'm willing to volunteer the town truck and myself to go up and do it if, Yeah, that's a conversation we're happy to have, but I don't know if it's that simple. well, that's If you- fine. We're calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning and saying, come on out right now and do it. Well, and
Well-
while you're done, shovel the walk and sand and. Well, that's why I'm asking, how much is involved?
I mean, the library doesn't open at 4 o'clock in the morning, so.
In order to get it plowed and prepped and shovel all the steps and the walkways in order for them to be ready for them to arrive at 8. You start at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Isn't there ramp heated, Paul?
I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer.
I thought they had put in a heated ramp.
And it's,
I
you
don't
know,
think we have many of those.
it's 24/7 and we'd have to be able to guarantee them and I'm not sure that any one person's going
I think it's nice of you to
Yes, it's-
bring it up, but I think it bears conversation.
Yeah, we could have the conversation, I don't mind. I mean, I can get in there at 6:30, I'd like you to say, if it's 8 o'clock that it needs to be done, we're usually headed into the plant at 6:30. So.
Yeah.
Okay, treatment? Yeah.
Okay. So who plows, your parking lot?
I do.
Oh, okay,
We plow the yard.
okay.
A lot of times I plow Putnam Road, at least in and out for us if it's a heavy storm in the afternoon or in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
I try to do that as a neighborly thing because I try to keep the neighbors as happy as we can.
Yep.
So you put snow in your driveway?
No, I try not to. I try to push it across the street to the next house.
That way, those times in the summer when the smell gets away from you.
Uh-huh. So as you can see, this budget is also fairly flat compared to previous years. Most of it is wage adjustment and a little bit of electricity, and there's not too much else of any great note in this particular section.
Now, when you talk about electricity, you're buying the meter at this point, right?
Yeah, we're taking power from across the river.
But,
But it doesn't cover us 100%.
okay,
We designed it that way because we would have to commit to buying power that in the.
mine did.
Sorry.
My last solar thing covered 100% of my.
What'd you do, get a sunny day finally?
Well, I go up and put a lamp up, no.
So we designed it, I believe that we designed it to cover 93%.
Okay,
So that we would never
yeah,
be buying
mine's
power.
designed for 105.
So that we would never be buying power
Yeah.
that we weren't absorbing.
Okay,
So we buy the difference basically from Eversource.
but I'm looking, at this point, you spent 24,000 in electricity, and you're asking, oh yeah, it's gone up, so 73.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Consumption's gone up.
Yep.
Overall, the budget's pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And I will take a quick moment to forewarn you that upon someday, when and if it ever happens, we are able to upgrade the plant, that there will be a significant change in power consumption at that point. Well, there'll also be power consumption, chemical consumption.
Personnel.
personnel, because there'll be a lot of chemicals involved with the new plant.
Okay.
A lot of expense involved in building that plant too. So,
But that's not planned for.
No, well, it's hard to say now. I mean,
well, there's a drop dead date with the EPA, but
EPA, okay.
end of 2024 or something.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen anymore. The funding stack has fallen apart, and you'll be lucky if you start it by 2024. That's my guess at this
In
point.
which case the cost will be even more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What things are
So Arnie, since this upgrade hasn't happened, probably won't happen for a while, are there any major capital investments that need to be done to the existing plant?
Well, we got a brand new roof, last year. We've got the fuel lines redone, which has eliminated a major headache for us this winter. We've already upgraded the grinder screening system. Basically, the next two upgrades that we really need, which would be UV and grit, are going to be integrated in the new plant. So there would be no reason at this point to even think of doing either one of those two.
What if, say, the UV fails?
The UV fails, we're going to have to start buying some parts.
Okay.
And I have spare modules.
Okay.
So the light bulbs, transformers, that type of stuff, I got a whole set in the building if the one outside fails. Right now, the system control center, which is basically the brain of the thing that's outside, has already failed us. And we basically just run power straight through that, and the bulbs are either on or the bulbs are off. That's my only option, and we've been running on that option for over 3 years. All I have to do is throw the breaker and shut them off or turn them on. So that's failed, so it doesn't matter.
And you're accepting septic from Newport residents?
Newport residents only.
Are we charging enough for that?
Yes, so far at this point, we are breaking even with that.
Okay.
The only issue I'm facing right now is the hauled water situation from a particular corporation sitting at the top of Guiled Hill that sells gasoline. And they are running a car wash up there, and they are just flooding us with car wash water, which tends to cut into our ability to take.
And that's really picked up. That business there has gone nuts.
Apparently, it's gone out of
I think
sight.
people like to see the lights go off.
I don't know what the deal is, but there's some novelty to it because they rebuilt it, and we're getting water out of there that I really wish it was going into a sewer line and coming down Guiled Hill.
Okay, I can see what you, I mean, they're just lined up.
Well, everybody, the hauler tells me, he says, well, I'm here, and it's like 4 below zero, and there's 5 cars lined up to get a car wash.
Yeah, I was in line a long time the other day.
Stop it, Barry, go find another car wash. Oh, gosh. I can't believe the volume of water.
T-Bird, they built that new one, well, they've redone it.
They redid it.
By the
Redid it.
fireworks
It's pretty, I mean, it's
Really? Oh,
nifty.
okay.
Nifty.
All right.
I'm glad to hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'll make my wife, It's getting Deb to watch it.
that's fine.
So that basically,
Yeah, that's my only issue, but they're paying now 5 cents a gallon for that water. Septic's just 10 cents a gallon. I mean, I know it's hard to convince people otherwise, but it comes in a septic truck, it's all septic, it all has to be treated the same.
okay.
But other than that, I think we can hold out till we get the new upgrade. That's why I have nothing in the budget. I didn't ask for anything because I don't need it.
Okay.
I hate to put stuff in and have it taken out in 3 years because it's not needed.
Does the Ice House Plaza car wash service the same way?
That goes right into the Guiled sewer line and comes down to us through the sewer line.
So that gets charged regular? Do they
No,
get
that they're charged with sewer
the
rate.
same?
Yeah, based on water consumption.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to
Thank
know
you.
about that. I didn't realize that.
I'll have to go over and try it someday myself to see what the lights are all about.
Yeah, I was,
I don't do the lights because I couldn't like it.
so this is like an automatic one, right?
Yeah, it's nifty, does a nice job.
Drives you right through it.
Well, I like the ones where you do the one yourself, because I do it underneath more than anything else.
Yeah, I do too.
So.
All right, gentlemen, have a good evening.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good job.
So you want
See you
to
later.
take up with salaries on administration? Go back to 49.
49.
It's up by a whopping $911. 0.47%. Biggest change is the annual adjustment to salaries and related expenses, and that's about it.
Okay.
So they took 20% of the town manager's salary on it.
Right.
Interesting.
That's been the
What's that?
pattern,
Oh, yeah.
common practice.
Yeah, I know, you started, I know that.
20 in water and 20 in sewer.
Yeah, okay.
So. All right.
And the next section, under services,
Mm-hmm.
is, same, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's, that overall section is down by $6,000.
Wow.
Okay.
And,
Looks like major reduction is electricity.
Electricity, yeah. Well, another one is, oh, not enough money anyway. Okay.
questions?
No.
Anything to add on this? I mean,
Anything bad?
anything to add?
Oh, add.
I think it's all, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do have under capital programs some sewer work in there, right? So that, most of the, I guess, capital expenses would be in that section, right?
Right.
So, now what about monitoring and all? Is that covered here, the time you guys monitor sewer lines and such? Run a camera down it or such?
Oh, yes, we can.
That's what?
We have a push camera,
Right.
and if we're lucky, on a good day, we can get it 200 feet, but sewer lines are a little longer than 200 feet.
Yeah, there's money in the budget for
Yeah.
track.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I thought I saw something in here.
Page 53.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to that, I guess. Anything else under services? Paul?
No, if you go to page 53,
Yep.
just a little bit of interest on debt, we keep decreasing this year, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do get into the two capital items, which is the camera and then the collection system maintenance, which is either rebuilding manholes or lining pipes.
Okay. And this new camera will basically crawl along?
Yeah, that allows us to inspect, so as part of the NIFTY's permit,
Okay.
we're gonna have to have a program that we inspect visually, camera work, so it's either we're doing it or we're gonna have to hire someone to do it. So if we can do it in-house, it should be a big savings.
Okay.
And I think it's overall further reflective of Todd and the crew are doing a good job trying to be preventative.
Right.
They go out and they inspect these lines and look for big II infiltration or blockage, hopefully to find a lot of it before it becomes a real problem and we have to dig it up at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a February snowstorm.
Never a fun time.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yes.
So, I'm just looking here, you wanted to put money into a fund for a backhoe? 1150?
Well, That was an item that we've discussed, it would be a share cost with other
Other
departments.
parts,
Yeah.
but it's not funded.
Not this time.
Okay. And you're okay with that? I mean, you can live with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think those are distinctly
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
responses. You know, the idea is that a backhoe is an incredibly valuable piece of
Yes, it
equipment.
is. Yeah.
For instance, you know, water and sewer and public works, they all have times when they need that equipment. In fact, even cemeteries has times when they need that equipment. The backhoe that cemetery is using now is very old, marginally, well, it's marginally unsafe. But they have such little demand for it that you can't really justify spending a lot of money on something that they only use 10 or 15, 20 hours a year. So, you know, trying to upgrade this equipment and sharing it amongst departments is really the only viable way to go.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, you know, Public Works is the only department right now that I'm still worried about having an inadequate level of capital equipment funding to get us to a sustainable level where the same amount of money pretty much takes care of whatever the next piece of equipment is in line to be replaced in that particular year. They're probably probably on the order of $100,000 short every year. But each year we try to boost that up a little bit, but you know, it's hard to get there quick enough.
So how many backhoes does the town have?
Well, there's
One in the cemetery.
two technically, but the cemetery one is
It's really nice.
basically strictly just for the cemetery.
Right, okay, so there's one backhoe that's shared between water, sewer, and public works.
It's the water sewer backhoe, yes.
Okay.
And the cemetery backhoe is on borrowed time.
So the thought would be eventually, we have two loaders, front end loaders. One is partially shared with water and sewer. And the plan would be to, when the time comes to trade that for a larger backhoe that would be shared.
Okay.
So then we'd have two backhoes.
Right.
Which is, you get more usage out of it.
Yeah, generally, I mean, it listed as a 1999 backhoe, but generally a lot of times that's, you look at usage by hours, not the age. I mean,
Well, to some degree. It's usually usage, but at some point age will catch up.
right.
Yeah, this must get hard usage though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Pounding away.
it's 2 o'clock in the morning in January when there's a water main break. And it's,
yeah.
you know, pounding through frost and,
That's why you get the heavy duty one.
Yeah, that's right. Extra heavy duty.
Yeah, they're not big, so they're considered service vehicles, and so they have a shorter life or a rougher life than most applications.
Now, what's the collection system maintenance? Line 136, 37.
That's a program they started
36.
2 years ago. And it started out with replacing manholes, and then it's that, and now they've gotten into slip lining,
Yep.
which extends the length of the lines.
And that's the preventative maintenance I referred to.
Yep, I got it right here. Yep, new manholes were necessary. Yep, you guys put in a couple of manholes on Lowell Street last summer.
and lined.
Yep.
So they do try to time some of this work to be coincident with road work, so that you're not digging up the same road twice. We really don't plan on, nor do we enjoy paving a piece of roadway and then a year or two later digging it up. That's not our intent, so we try to avoid those situations.
All right. Herb, anything?
Nope.
Barry?
I'm
anything
all
else?
set, thank you.
All right. Paul?
Come back to the front of the water fund. Well, for the first page of the water fund, page 39.
Yep. Of administration again?
Yeah.
No surprises there?
No, it's it's a pretty boring budget. It's the same story here, a little bit of a bump because of wages, but everything else is pretty darn flat.
So let me ask this one question. Why, for example, in this section is health insurance down 10%?
Attrition,
Okay,
change in personnel.
all right,
Yeah, all you gotta do is have one family member leave.
Yeah.
yep, okay. But overall, we're looking at about a 6% increase in health insurance from
5.9, yes.
All right, where next? Services?
Yes.
No surprises here. How are we on training for water and sewer staff?
Well, everybody has a license to maintain,
Okay,
so they're all, kind of in charge of maintaining, keeping track of their hours, enrolling in classes. We take advantage of, when sometimes there are free classes available, we'll take advantage of that.
okay,
We will have, I think some new employees will need a little additional training, maybe some classes on further licensing.
yep. But pretty much, everyone's trained in what they're supposed to be trained in, and we have people cross-trained or such where needed, or?
Yeah, we do work on that.
Under equipment, repair and replace,
Where are you?
line 41,
41.
page 41. Line 41.
Yep.
We're showing almost double the 5-year average, a significant increase over the last couple of years. Is there a reason for that?
On
Yeah,
Page
there-
42.
They're adding a new leak detector, $2,700, and a new tripod winch harness system for $4,700.
Yep.
So those were specific items that needed to be replaced.
And it's replacing old equipment that's worn out, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you familiar with the tripod system to get people in and out of
Manholes.
Manholes.
excavations and manholes and places like that? Which is most of us don't want to do.
All right. Overall, it's up like just under 3%.
Yep.
Treatment. Water treatment. Now, was it last summer you replaced one bed, sand bed,
No.
or a couple of years ago?
We've been actually working on that right now.
Okay,
After we finished the intake project, we kind of rolled into the
Okay.
filter beds.
right, okay.
Yeah. So they completed one this week. They're prepping the second bed, which will be not replacing, we're replenishing. So over the course of the years, every time you go in and clean, you're losing some of the material out of there.
Right,
So we've gone in, cleaned it, drained it, and now we'll replenish the sand. I think they average probably 6 inches in the one that they did the first time.
okay. So basically, you sort of sift the sand to pull out what you can, and,
No,
No.
we leave the sand there, and the sand that is put in, it's a very specific size and type.
but there's nothing done to more or less filter the sand that's in there, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
But don't you scuff, when you clean, you scuff off the top?
So we scour it with, it's like a high-pressure water, so it floats all of the stuff to the surface, and then it's
Okay, you skim it off.
skimmed across to the
Okay.
drain, yeah.
And it turns out that 80% of the sand replacement, the material has been paid for via the grant that we got for redoing the straw into the pond.
The Borders grant.
We have excess funds that they are allowing us to roll into the purchase of the sand.
Is that because the straw came in under budget?
A little bit.
Okay.
So they're very good at giving away money, but not very good on taking it back. So they were very kind to allow us to repurpose those funds and use it for this.
Good.
And we got new lights in the filter bays,
Yeah.
replace them with LED.
Yes, I remember when Senator Shaheen was here and you were showing her that, and she commented she'd never seen that process
Yeah.
before, so.
So yeah, we've been able to do some pretty important maintenance upgrades and such up there.
Now, is that, does that need to be monitored in person daily, or is that the one that they changed the ruling on, where it used to be remote monitoring you could do?
So
at
we,
times?
during the week, we monitor it
Yeah.
daily, but now that we have SCADA, we can log in and,
Okay,
yeah, we can monitor, you know, residuals, that sort of
Okay.
stuff.
and that's working out well?
Yep.
All right. So, how many beds do we have up there? Different,
3,
three?
yeah, 3 filter beds.
And you're moving on to working the second one right now?
Yeah.
How often do they have to be cleaned?
So historically, in the past, it was probably once a month they were
Okay.
doing one. With the new intake, where we're pulling from a different column of water, not right off the bottom,
Mhm.
replenishing the sand, we're kind of hopeful that we can extend the time out on that,
Yeah.
which we'll see, you know, as time goes on and we run the filters, we'll see what that ends up being.
All right. Anything else on treatment here? All right, Paul?
At the
Interest?
page 43 after treatment, you've got that few interest lines.
Yep.
And then in capital, there's only the silicate building improvements.
Which line is that?
115.
Yep. All right. And down we have, don't have anything else there. All right. That pretty much looks like it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay, that it?
That's it for water. One thing I don't know if we talked about is if you go to the last page of sewer,
Okay.
you'll see the sewer fund summary.
Yep.
And down at the bottom is the $75,000, and that would be a bond article. And that's actually through the state revolving loan fund, and there's 100% forgiveness on that. But it will be an article and something that you'll need to recommend in your budget.
Yep. Does that need to be a separate article?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And that will actually be a 2/3 majority, 3/5 majority required.
Okay. 3/5.
But it's money coming back. It's
Why?
reimbursement. So
3/5 because it's a bond, or because, I thought there was a threshold of like 100,000 where you needed 3/5.
I'd have to check. I thought with Senate Bill 2 everything was 3/5, but
Yeah, I could be wrong, it's been a
a
while.
lower bond may be less.
Anyway, it's a zero impact.
Okay. Right. All right. Anything else?
The only thing you haven't seen is airport, which is less remarkable than everything else.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. for
Thank you,
coming.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Guys, have a good night.
Okay.
Get my money's worth out of the cushion tonight. Good job. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Airport fund.
Yeah, so really nothing remarkable here either. We're selling more fuel, so there's a bigger expense there, but we make more money on it, so there's an offset. So there really isn't any big changes here. We're putting a new roof on the hangar as soon as weather allows.
On the community hangar.
Community.
Yeah, and we've been awarded applied for it, and we're awarded a earmark grant, which should go a long way to helping us resurface and reconstruct the runway.
And this will reconstruct it all the way to the south end, right?
Well,
Hopefully.
so,
Yeah, they're in the impression you can do the whole thing.
well, we'll see when the money arrives.
Yeah, that's what I told them.
The amount of pavement that we're gonna be able to do down there gets smaller every month. And it's tied up in Congress, and they keep pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off.
Yeah, Pike's gonna do it, right?
That's gonna be our recommendation to you. We're gonna ask for you to allow us to award that sole source, but,
Okay.
under last year's rates.
What is going, now, you doing any change in airport management?
Not in this budget.
Nope, okay. All right, any questions on airport? I guess you guys are the two reps for the airport?
Yes, sir.
All right.
They're very happy at this particular point. I'm talking with you.
They do a lot of their own maintenance down there.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah, the guy that does the plowing and all that. And they really think things through, like they're using plastic edging now rather than steel edging for plowing. They think through.
And the revenues are pretty much towing the line on the expenses, so
Yeah.
it pretty much pays for
Well, they-
itself.
It's a self-sustaining
They,
Yeah.
enterprise.
they have a history of tracking, when to buy fuel and when not to, and they've been pretty good about
Yeah.
buying fuel low and, putting 50 cents on it to
Keep a
cover
pretty
the
close
cost.
eye on their competitors in the area as well.
Yeah.
But, the sales
I've always been amazed by hearing just how far someone will fly to save a nickel on a gallon of aviation fuel. But I guess if you're flying, you're gonna fly somewhere anyway, so.
Yeah.
Anything else here?
No.
Anything else budget-wise we need to discuss?
Good.
All right.
Well, you will need to come up with your preliminary recommended budget to go to the BAC.
Do we need to meet for any further budget discussion, give our recommendations, request?
I won't be here next week.
Okay.
What was the deal with the library? Why do we have budget in the budget and we have a revised budget?
The budget, the amount of money, timing. I think the new director isn't quite familiar with our process yet. We submitted a budget, it was up by $7,000 or so.
Yeah.
And then appeared, what's today, Monday? Yeah, Monday with a revised budget with more requests in it. So, we don't think $15,000 is even anywhere near close to what, or reflective of real market might be for the plowing and sanding.
So I guess I'm a little in shock at the increase. Our other department heads are all, towing the line here.
Then again, it's only $48,000. I mean, it's not a big amount.
It's,
Well, give me the $48,000
Yeah.
and we'll take care of the backhoe.
It just seems,
It's a lot.
we have staffing
You think so?
issues.
That was 14% increase in the
Yeah.
departmental budget.
Yeah, but a small budget.
If we're gonna add personnel positions, I'd rather see them added to Public Works, Fire,
But they've already done that, though.
rather than the one.
They already jumped ahead.
Then they'll have to find room in the budget to,
Don't misunderstand me, I'm not suggesting it's not worthwhile or worthy or it's not a good
I
thing
feel
to
the
do.
same way.
But we got lots of good worthwhile things to do that, so it's just a matter of making decisions, and that's, I've done that throughout the budget. Okay, do we need a backhoe? Yeah, we sure do. But I need something else more, and so we gotta make those hard decisions and kind of get things to stretch out.
And you
so-
can't do everything you wanna do in 1 year. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
it takes a few
I
years.
just think, when we discuss it, I'll get it. Yeah.
I was just curious about the delay and the.
a couple of things. This is her first budget.
Right.
And also, it came out, she didn't come up with this on her own. This was in conjunction with her board of trustees.
Oh, yeah, Sharon was highly involved.
So, this was a, I think in the past years, we've had them come in here and, ask for like $5,000 to do some work on the foundation. It would be like is that all you need? Well, we don't want to ask for too much and stuff. And like 2-3 years ago, when we talked about their programming and, you know, we on the board decided, well, you should be open Wednesday night. How much will that cost you? I said, like $6,000. I said, done. And they were like, really?
Yeah, well,
And it was like,
the,
we recognize, you know, the value of the programs, but it's,
I
If
guess I'm just,
$15,000 in that is the plowing and stuff, they need to be researching other ways to, that's a lot of money.
yeah, that's a lot of money. If you're gonna give them 15,000 for that, don't give it to them. Give me 15,000 and I'll hire a summer guy, or winter guy, and I'll have them assigned up there all the time. I mean, but they were upset with us. They were upset with us this year because we weren't able to be there when they wanted us to be there. And that's just not gonna happen on the staffing that we have. I mean,
there was one time, I think.
So if we gave you 15,000, you'd hire a winter guy and we'll take care of it.
yeah, I would
That's what
explore
you
that a
just
little bit. Yeah, but
Okay.
give me a second to absorb that. But I mean, I could hire a guy for 3 months, you know, for,
Yeah.
that's a $60,000 a year job. And I could hire somebody for 3 months or pay that much overtime or something. But my point is that it's really, that's a lot of
That
money.
I understand.
It's
Yeah,
heavy.
That I understand. I think that, well, when we discuss it, I'll get it.
Yeah, and I think you ought to be able to do that for half that price. And unfortunately, she was only able to get one quote. You know, I don't know where that came from or who she called, but, you know, it's just a sign of the times. But we can't absorb all this stuff for everybody in town. And we've been doing it for years and doing it for free.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's private property. I mean, I don't want to draw a line in the sand, but it's not our property. And that doesn't mean we don't want to help.
That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah, it's not that we don't want to help, but there's a price to it, and somebody's gonna, you know,
Right,
have to
but-
absorb that.
You know, as they mentioned, the parking lot is used for town events, school events.
Well, yeah, I get that, everybody,
So-
everybody can say that. Sugar River Bank, you know, parking lot is used for
Tell
the
them to
Apple
use the
Pie
county
Festival.
parking lot.
Yeah, and we maintain that as a, you know, quid pro quo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can justify it, but I mean, there's just an expense and, you know, whatever. We're happy to do it, whatever the board wishes.
guess I'm still in shock.
What's that?
I guess I'm a little in shock when I first started reading the numbers. Guess I'm still digesting them too, so.
I think the 15, with the other part of it, I think it stands on its own.
Yeah, the 15 is also mowing, so it's plowing, it's property maintenance.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you might want to carve out 5 minutes for an update on our union situation.
Yeah, you gotta get out of here.
Yeah, well,
Right, before we do that, our public hearing is March 7th. Ideally, according to the calendar, this goes to the BAC 2 weeks from, a week from Monday, so the 28th.
Yeah.
However, you know, this on the calendar is our last budget session. And next Monday would be a regular meeting. It's also a federal holiday, the town is closed. Do we want to push off our regular meeting, say to the 28th, and also use that as a day to finalize how we do the budget? Because you're not here next week.
Well, I'm not gonna be here on the 28th.
Why not?
I'm gonna be in Florida. I'll be
Can you zoom in?
I think that means no.
We at
Bad-
some
bad
point,
service and that-
If I have to, I will zoom in, to get it done. Because my wife's got a couple of Zoom meetings too, so.
see, I think the key is, you know, I think we haven't said exactly what we want in and what we want out. The salary adjustments for the call personnel, we don't see that in here. It's not
We're
shown in the budget.
redoing that.
The proposed increases for personnel. Is that reflected in here,
Yes.
the whole 3.5% for
Yes.
everyone,
Yes,
including yourself?
everyone, but that'll be your decision to make at some
Okay, I
point.
think Paul's.
Funds are there.
What?
The funds are there.
Funds are there.
28th, I'll be in Tampa.
Sand and salt air is bad for computers.
What about the 21st?
That's Monday.
21st, Monday I'll be around.
Do we want to meet Monday, our regular board meeting, and also use that to finalize the budget? Because if
Are we
you,
going to run into notification issues? Don't they have to be or advised,
it's,
posted, whatever?
this is Thursday. We post it tomorrow, like we normally do an agenda.
That gives you enough time?
Yeah.
It is a holiday, I don't know if that makes any difference to you guys.
But the thing
21st,
is,
the holiday? What is it?
what is it instead?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's just closed.
Yeah.
So you don't have school that day.
No, we're on vacation anyway.
So, like, one of my concerns is
Yes,
28th. He's gonna be gone. Keith probably would, well, Keith will probably be here because he
For Monday.
could probably make it.
I mean, I can zoom in.
Right, but
I'm not
I wanna make sure we have,
You think I'm gonna
we
carry
have
this
to, we have to have a
around with me?
quorum in the room. There has to be a physical quorum present for it to count. So 21st to 28th, which would
Either
work
one
best
can-
for you?
Either one. 21st, I think, gives us a better time frame because it just seems like we may need the time, but
You gotta come in.
we're really pushing the,
I will, if you have a meeting, I'll come to work that time.
Can we meet earlier?
pushing the envelope if we push it out.
What time would you like to meet?
Oh, start at 5, have a little food and...
Start at 5.
I wanna get home. I gotta pack and fly out the next day, so.
Pack before you come to the meeting.
A little last minute.
Mara, what's your preference?
I am here whenever you need me.
Oh,
So what's a preference? The 21st at 5 o'clock? That work better?
5, yeah. Works for me.
we'll get out of here earlier.
I don't like having meetings at unusual times when it's supposed to be a regular meeting because it upsets people who are used to tuning into us, but we can try it.
How many people are tuning in?
I don't mean on Zoom, I mean just watching us on TV.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But we get it out
you
earlier.
know, I mean, it's like the school board meets at 5 and it's like,
I can answer that. Now that we have Facebook, you get a lot of people tuning into the selectmen's meetings, in the hundreds.
So what if we change it to 5? Is that gonna destroy it?
Well, you'll get the regular viewers who expected at 6:30 to wonder what happened.
Well, we can go at 6. If you wanna go at 6:30.
But you know, they can always watch it in a repeat. But for the live meetings, a lot of people tune into the selectmen's meetings.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'll go with
6:30?
Yeah, I can do that. I'll just
all
back
right,
ahead.
so
You wanna do your budget work session at 5 and then a regular meeting at 6:30?
Sure. Sounds like a good compromise.
do we have an hour and a half worth of budget work to do?
I don't know.
Well, we
If you're
had,
gonna pass what you've got, it takes 3 minutes. If you're gonna talk about changes, it takes more than that.
Right, but the thing is, we come in at 5 for budget
Yeah.
and we're done at 5:15.
how about if we come in at 6?
But if you do it on a regular meeting and you get an hour and a half of public comment, you're gonna be doing budget at 9 o'clock at night.
So why don't we do budget meeting at 6, regular meeting at 6:30?
Good.
All right?
Yep. Oh, that's right, my cousin will be down there. It'll be a good thing to be at a meeting.
You mean Zoom meetings?
No, I mean, get out of the house.
Okay, so Paul and Hunter, you'll get us more or less, what do we want going forward? We want to see any changes for the call people? The 3.5% increases are in here already?
Yep.
What else did we want?
Well, is there a way to come up with a solution about the library and plowing between now and then, or just, okay?
And as far as the call people are concerned, I don't, if you have something you want us to do, just tell us. Otherwise, you don't have to, but I'd ask you, just let me do my thing.
Right, I think, you know, and I mentioned this last meeting, they're underpaid compared to surrounding communities. And it'd be good to show that we recognize it and are looking to do an adjustment. It may not, you know, a couple dollars an hour is not gonna, you know, balance anyone's checkbook. It shows some appreciation.
And it's not gonna disrupt the budget either, so I don't think you should be too worried.
Okay.
Too worried about whatever
Gotcha.
you come up with. We'll just absorb it, and then it will appear in next year's budget, and we'll take care of it.
Now, also, okay, we're gonna, at the end of this meeting, we'll meet for a few minutes on the contract.
Yep.
And that has to be drop dead date on that,
7th.
the
For you,
8th.
7th for you.
We need to approve it the 7th because it all has to be completed
By the 8th.
and done by the 8th.
Right.
And also for those watching and interested, the 8th is the deadline for any petition warrant articles, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and the 7th is our public hearing,
7th of
March. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Too bad. All right, we're adjourned. We'll take a few minutes to close up, shut down, and